sales that I got on eBay and Amazon the last 24 hours. Plus, I sold a Wenders, W-I-M, and then Wenders, W-E-N-D-E-R-S, DVD box set for $40 plus shipping. Look it up. That's one to look out for, but that one's in the car. So all of this stuff is eBay, and then the red book is Amazon. And I want to talk specifically, so let's talk about the three on the left here, which I all found at the thrift store. These all were either donations, or this one came from the bookstore where I am right now. See the bookstore. This was in the bookstore of all the inventory I purchased. This one I sold, I believe, I'm blanking now how much I sold it for, but I sold that one. This one's a donation that I sold. Yeah, I'm not going to remember the prices. I didn't look them up. This one sold for 15 bucks. This was from the Gaylords of all of the pre-scanned CDs that I still have 3 more Gaylords to go through. This is a donation. No, this was a Gaylord, and this was, I believe, this is pretty old. I'm not quite sure if that's from a donation or that's sold for $12 free shipping, or a Gaylord pallet situation. And this one was low priced, almost $4 plus shipping. But the ones I want to talk about over here are the thrift stores. So this one I found in December. This one I found all the way back in July. And this one I found in July. I remember all 3 of these. This one especially because I recently got it. This is one I put in a video, and this one I sold on Amazon. So let's go to the one I only sold for 15 bucks. Took an offer. I've had it up since July, so I was happy to take the offer. I bought it for $2. It sold for $15 plus shipping. It is 25 of the best Stompin' Tom souvenirs. $2 into 15 after fees and everything will probably be a little under 10 bucks, maybe 8 bucks. It's not a major profit flip, but it's still profitable. Turning $2 into 8 or 9 bucks is not bad, especially if you're starting out. So that's one that I found at a thrift store. Now, this one I'm really excited about because this one I found, was it the same day? It's the same day as this one, actually. But this one sold for $51 plus shipping. I bought it for $4 at a local thrift store back during the summer. I remember buying this. So I actually bought it in the city that it's about, Chino. And so it's the Chino we remember. And down here it says, a history of our Mexican-American families from 1800s to 1950s. So it is a very specific book. So there is lots and lots and lots of books and media to find to flip for a profit in your local thrift stores. Now, of course, if you live in a larger, higher populated area, chances are much better that you're going to find quality stuff, that kind of thing, right? That there's going to be constantly new items hitting the shelves every week, every day. So, of course, understanding that if you're living in a small town, or you have to drive a ways to a bigger town, that is something, of course, to consider. But basically, if you're able to hit up some big thrift stores, especially smaller ones that are not massive chains like Salvation Army, like Goodwill, like what is that other place, Savers, it's even better. So like this one came from one that only has 2 locations in the area, but it's a very big thrift store, and they put out new stuff. Basically, well, every week they're putting out new items, but I'm going there twice a week, and I'm still finding items. So what's important is that you go consistently. If you can get to know the people that work there, even better, but that's not necessary. It's not something that I'm doing. I mean, I'm getting to know people that work there, but I'm not going in the back room or anything like that. But I am going there twice a week, and I'm only going there for no more than 40 minutes at a time. So I'm not spending 3 or 4 hours when I'm there, and I'm not going every single day. But even just going twice a week for about 40 minutes on average each time, I'm still finding stuff. So it doesn't matter that there's other resellers. You just have to know what to look for, and you have to be consistent about it. So this one is very niche. It was from the city that I found it in. It's drilled down not only to the city, but also a history of Mexican-American families, going way back, 1800s to 1950s. So it's very specific, but there's going to be someone looking for it. $4 is a bit higher than I usually pay for a book in a thrift store. I usually try to pay about $1, $2, maybe $3 at most. $4 is the higher range for me. I'm not spending $8 on a book unless, of course, I know or feel really confident it's going to sell for a nice profit. And I had this book listed at 70 bucks, but it took a little over 6 months to sell, and it sold for $50 plus shipping. So just understand that you got to go to these places consistently. You've got to do your research when you find a book and see if there's other copies of it. It's been a while since I looked this one up, so it doesn't have a barcode, but I do remember when I came across it. It does not even have an ISBN. So there was either no copies on eBay or there was possibly one other. But I knew that it would go, or it could go for more money because of how niche it is. So competition, price, and the niche is probably the three most important things. I mean, outside of condition, of course, you don't want to sell something that's completely mangled. You can, and you can still get good money for it, potentially, but the better condition, the more likely it's going to sell for top dollar. So this is very niche. Now, this one I talked about in a past video. I found this on right after Christmas, the day after Christmas, when my family and I were away for about 5 days, and there was a Goodwill in the area, and that's where I found this book. It was the only thing I found when I went there with my wife, and funny enough, she's the one that found it while I was looking through the DVDs and some of the other books, and it was out on a table, and she found it and said that looked interesting, so I looked it up. Turns out it is a high profit book, and I sold it, guys. You ready? How much do you think I sold this book for? Take a guess before I tell you. So it is Gong He Fought, I guess, Choi, Book of Fortune, a fortune-telling game. This is the 3rd edition. So the original one, this is from 2009, and it has a little game board in the back, fold-up game board. This is from 2009, this version, this 3rd edition, but the original one came out, I believe, in the 40s or the 50s. I think it was the 40s, though. Yeah, 1948. And I got this for $3. And I sold it on Amazon, merchant fulfilled, not FBA, merchant fulfilled for $59.99, of course, plus shipping. That's right, $59.99. I paid $4 or $3, so really nice flip. Now, I believe I had to, because the barcode wasn't the right one here, I had to use the ISBN. When I looked it up, it made sense, more sense on Amazon than on eBay. So that's why I stress the importance of selling on both platforms. Those are the two biggest book selling platforms. Of course, you could say Abe Books, Biblio, but those don't even compare to either of them. And it's just, it's a good, those other ones like Abe Books and Biblio are a good place to use for research to find out if a book is priced higher. But the traffic that you'll get to eBay and of course Amazon is much greater. So those are the two that I would focus on, or I'd recommend only selling on those two. But if you have experience with the others, let me know. But yeah, this made more sense on Amazon than on eBay. And sometimes that happens. And sometimes it's vice versa. But you're going to potentially miss out on more profit or profit at all, even being able to resell something at all, if you're not selling on both platforms. It doesn't mean you can't make plenty of money selling on one. I'm just saying that it opens up the world to you much more when you can sell on both. So this one was on Amazon. It did not take very long to sell either. It took about, what do we got here? It is the 10th, so it took 15 days for it to sell. Actually, that's not true, because I didn't list it right away. So it's probably less than 2 weeks for this to sell for $60. So just, look up more books, look up more CDs, look up more DVDs, look up more VHS tapes. And when you have started, get to the point of you've looked up thousands of them, thousands of books, thousands of CDs, etc., DVDs, you're going to get to the point where you're going to be able to spot something. And I've said this over and over again, but when you're at the thrift store, guys, I find this at thrift stores where other resellers go and they miss them. So what are they doing? Are they rushed? Why would you be rushed? Or why would you not be thorough? You can be a little bit rushed. Like I'm only there 30, 40 minutes on these two. I was only there for at most 40 minutes. So I am feeling a little rushed, but I'm still thorough. So when I go through a bookshelf like this, I'm going to be thorough. I wouldn't go through the young adult section. I would go through the nonfiction. But as an example, if this was nonfiction, I would go through each book. I mean, I wouldn't look up each book, but I would look at the spine, or I'd pull it out. I'd say, no, not worth it, not worth it. In my head, not worth it, not worth it. Until I get to the point of finding a book that's worth looking up. And then you look it up on Amazon for books. If it has a barcode, I usually scan it on Amazon first. If there's any potential to it, if it makes sense immediately on Amazon, then I will look it up on eBay to see if maybe there's even a bigger price discrepancy. But usually it varies. It varies. But kind of go between the two. But I usually use, if there's barcodes, I use Amazon first to get a general idea. If it's selling often, if it's selling for more money, a good profit, how much competition there is. The less competition, the better, period. Unless it's something that's selling constantly all the time, then the amount of competition is not as important as where the price is. So these are all things to consider. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. There's lots of money to be made at thrift stores. And I'm only going to 2 thrift stores, actually. No, yeah, 2 a week. Monday I go to one, Tuesday I go to one, and Wednesday. And Monday and Wednesday it's the same thrift store for only 40 minutes at most. And on Tuesday I'm limiting it to about 45 minutes there. And I look at DVDs, then I look at CDs, then I look at records, then I look at VHS tapes. They don't have books there. If they had books, a lot of books, then that would take longer, of course. I just look at the nonfiction for the most part. But because they don't have books, I'm not there that long. So just get really good at knowing what to pull out and look up, so you don't have to spend that much time, and you can still find great stuff. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Take care.